Okay, well, good morning everyone. My name is Derek Mair and I am a business coach with a company called Action Coach, who are a network of 1,200 business coaches in 36 different countries, leveraging off each other and working towards a common goal, which is helping each other grow our business and helping our clients grow our business. So a fantastic network. I'm not going to bore you too much about myself or about Action Coach. Very briefly, I spent 20 years in the corporate world, starting off as an engineer and then progressing through to operations management. Some of you may know the Micron facility in Skilbride. That's the project manage the startup of that facility. And then moved to Malaysia, working with subcontractors, acquiring subcontractors. I moved to Puerto Rico in the Caribbean. Terrible deal, but someone had to do it. And I was starting up a company to service Hewlett Packard there. I went up to Boise, Idaho for a while. Great place to live actually in America, where I was separating a corporate division into a whole new entity. And then I moved to San Diego with that new entity. Come back to Scotland in 2006 to actually close down part of the Micron facility. So a very, very varied background through engineering and operations management. And for the last couple of years, I've been working in business development, supporting sales and marketing teams throughout Europe, Middle East and Asia. And all that has got me to where I am today, which is a business coach. I invested with Action Coach 9 months ago and I've never really looked back. You know, it's a fantastic, every day I get up and I get to help business owners. My personal goal, my personal mission, my purpose is to help change the lives of a million people through my ability to coach, lead, teach and motivate. Very audacious purpose, but that's what drives me. That's my why. That's what I do. So anyway, let's get the obvious question over first of all. What is a business coach? And what does a business coach actually do? Well, let's think about, I like to use sports analogies. I'm a former powerlifter champion and I've played rugby all my life. So let's use some sports analogies. I usually use Tiger Woods actually. Maybe it's not quite so good to use him these days, so I'm trying to think of another famous...
Don't use John Terry either.
Yeah, don't use John Terry, exactly. Roger Federer. Everyone agree that Roger Federer is the #1 tennis player in the world? Top of his game? Knows everything there is to know about tennis? Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Then why does Roger Federer need a coach? In fact, he's got 5 coaches. What value does Roger Federer get from having a coach? Think of your own sporting life, in fact, and your own sporting activities or your past. What's your coach done for you? He's given you new games plans, new strategies. He's pushed you to be the best you can be. And that's exactly what I do for business owners. I work with the personal development of the business owner or of the management teams to actually build up the business. Can I just ask, how many people actually own a business in the room today? And how many people work for the man? Okay, so how many business owners still wish they work for the man in this current climate? Yeah, there you go, that's always an interesting question. So my goal today is to really challenge the way you think about business. Is that okay if I try to do that? Yep. So in fact, let me tell you about another business breakfast I attended a couple of months ago down at the Hilton in Glasgow, and fairly similar setting. I think there was about 70 people in the room, and the first question I asked, I was on a podium. First question I asked was, is everyone getting what they want out of their business in this current climate? And actually a good friend of mine who was sitting at the first table was the first to shout back, of course, and said, Derek, you're absolutely crazy to even ask that question. So here's my definition of crazy. Crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now I know that sounds insane, but trust me, most of the business owners I go into to help, that's exactly what I do. In fact, some people hear me even recognise that's happening. So times have changed, the economy has changed, your markets have changed. You must change in order to lead change with your teams or in your business. My definition of insanity is trying even harder to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So here's my first challenge. My first challenge to you is, your prosperity is directly related to your philosophy and not to the economy. Your prosperity is directly related to your philosophy and not to the economy. And let me try and justify that for you. Who knows how much money there is in the world? How much money is there in the world? Anyone any idea? Any guesses? There's 44 trillion dollars in the world. 44 trillion dollars. At any point during the day, there's $3 trillion gets traded in foreign exchange. Anyone trading Forex? Get into it, guys. There's loads of money to be made there. Start trading in Forex. $3 trillion trade there every single day. For the pragmatists in the room, there's 6.8 billion people in the world. You do the maths, divide 6.8 billion into 44 trillion. There's enough money for everyone in the world. But here's the thing. £30,000 per year is a fairly decent wage in this country. Everyone agree? Yeah, a lot of people earn 30,000. That's a very, very good wage. If you earn £30,000 per year, you are in the top 1% of the world's wealthiest people. Folks, I've saw some abject poverty in my travels and the places I've lived. You can't really comprehend starving children until you've saw that firsthand in Africa. We don't realise opportunities that are in front of us today in this country, even in this tough economic climate. And let's talk about that. So everyone know what GDP stands for, gross domestic products, a measure of our economy. And of course our economy has been in a decline for the last year or so. We're sitting at minus 4.2% GDP. So people are not buying the same as they did last year. They're not spending the same amount of money as they did last year. But minus 4.2% GDP means that 96% of all the wealth that was spent in 2008 was still spent in 2009 and will still be spent in 2010. So you have to look at the positives. 96% of all the wealth. Who wants part of that 96%? Absolutely. So it is a very untrusting economy. It is a tough economy, which means, and it only means, competition is tighter. So what stands you apart from the competition? I hear a lot of business owners tell me that these days they operate in a price-driven market. It's not about price, folks. It's about value. It's about marketing the value that you can provide to your clients before price is even discussed. It's a value-driven economy, and that's where we have to operate. So let's talk about the fundamentals of business. In fact, let's first talk about, everyone understand what compounding interest is? Yep.
Sorry?
Compounding interest.
Yeah.
So any savers in here, and it's a very low interest rate obviously to save money at the current time, but anyone who's in a high interest savings account, you put a lot of money into that account, you get interest in that every month. But the next month you're getting interest on top of the increased amount. You're getting interest on top of the interest. Next month it's interest on top of the interest. That's how saving accounts work. What if you could do that for business? What if we could create the compounding effect in business? Anyone think it's possible?
Yeah.
Yep. Anyone saw it before? Anyone like me to show you it today?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the business fundamentals first of all. In your own businesses, whether you own it or whether you work in it, would it be fair to say that you measure three things financially? Probably the amount of customers you have, probably the amount of revenue that generate from those customers, and the profit you make at the end of the day. Is that fair to say? That's what most people measure in businesses. Okay, as a business coach, I don't deal with any of those three things because they're all outputs. Each one of those three things are outputs. So you have to understand the fundamental inputs that generates those three outputs and focus your strategies in improving those inputs. And Chris is going to give you out a piece of paper at the moment that's got these fundamentals, and I'll talk you through them as Chris is giving it out. So.